Welcome to another edition of Real Estate Live. I'm Kathy Mae Martin, and I'm your host today. If you're self-employed and you're looking to buy a home, or you've ever been turned down for a loan because you're self-employed, stay tuned. My guest tonight is an expert in mortgages and in the lending process, and we're going to answer all your questions. Check out the screen. You can comment to us live on Facebook, or you can call in, and we're going to answer your questions live on the air tonight. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm so excited tonight to have as my co-host Miss Brandy Catron. Brandy is an expert in this business, and she's been one of our top producers for many years here at Coldwell Banker. We're excited to have her here, and I can promise you, you're going to want Brandy on your side of the closing table at closing. She'll do you a great job. Brandy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, Brandy Catron, I have been an agent at this office almost 7 years.
Wow.
So, yes, and have the 6 of the 7 years have done really well. Just try to take care, of all my clients' needs, hear what they need, just listen to them, and just do each one as they need. I grew up here in town since I was 2 or 3. I've lived in this area. I graduated at Harriman High School. Know the area very well. I'm a mom of 2 girls, a wife, and just pretty much work.
You're busy.
All the time. I try to stay busy, yeah. I'm trying to.
9 days a week. Brandy works 9 days a week.
I know.
So we're glad to have you,
A lot of
Brandy.
late nights at home.
It is. This business is not easy. It's a lot of late nights, but we have to love it or we couldn't do it, right?
I do love it, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you do a great job, and
Well,
it
thank
shows.
you. Thank you.
I think you have a listing you want to tell us about.
Yes, so I have 1514 East Cherokee Road in Crossville. This is in the Lake Tansey neighborhood. It is a 2,000 square feet home, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. Lake Tansey offers many amenities such as golf course, putting greens, clubhouse, picnic area, playground, pool, all the things, so much more. So the last pic, sorry that I was too slow on, that had the estimated boundary lines. I just wanted to show you those. This home sits on 2 combined lots, which makes it total just a little under half an acre. So I just wanted to show you the size of that. That's 2 lots there. This is the side view, just showing the 2 combined lots and how large the yard actually is. Now here's the backyard, the fenced-in area, along with the private dock and a boathouse. And as you can see, you've got direct water access there. And then a close-up of the dock. This highlights the roomy sitting area for everyone to just enjoy the water view. And then we'll move to the exterior of the home, and here you have a screened-in sunroom along with an open back patio. This house features a lot of room for just entertaining inside and out. And then the side shot here, this is the driveway and the garage, which gives you plenty of room for all the family and friends parking for all the family gatherings. And then back to the backyard, this is a nice shot of the open back patio where it's also accessed directly from the inside sitting area, so it makes for easy flow in and out when entertaining. And then this here, we've named this gorgeous little spot Turtle Rock, and I'll let you figure out why. And then moving into the inside of the home, this is the sitting area. There's a lot of natural light that comes in. There are new large windows that were put in on the side, a gorgeous gas stone fireplace. The owners did update the flow of the rooms with a new archway and a pass-through window. The flooring does feature all new vinyl floating floors throughout, as well as those beautiful pine walls. And there's a picture of the large windows that the owners have put in. You have a gorgeous view of the lake outside. And then we're gonna move into the dining and the kitchen area. They're open, providing lots of space for everyone. You can see that the windows and the doors all around bring in so much natural light. It gives you, a lake view access from almost anywhere in the house. And then there on the corner, you'll see that there's just direct access into the garage, so you don't have to go in and out to your car. And then the kitchen opens into the dining area that you just saw. Here's another view of the serving hatch window that the owners put in just to kind of open up those two rooms. The cabinets are brand new, as well as the countertops, and all brand new appliances. And then we'll end the slideshow with the primary, and this spacious suite features a brand new bath with walk-in shower and 2 walk-in closets. And the rooms flow very well from one room to the other. And then just lastly, additional improvements include new plumbing, electrical, a Generac generator, and a new HVAC unit. So priced at $549,000. This is a deal, so call me or call your agent to get on the showing schedule before this one's going.
Yeah, that is a great house. I got one question.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at it. Is that allow short-term rentals? Do you know?
So I would have to check with the Lake Tansy HOA. So
Yeah.
I'm not exactly
We're
for
getting
certain.
a
I
lot
do
of
have that.
requests.
Yeah, I do have that information. I can definitely let anybody know if they want to reach out and ask us, or I'll just provide it later on our Facebook page or something. Yeah.
There you have it. Contact Brandy Catron on this listing, or if you're looking to buy or sell, I promise you she's going to do you a great job. Thanks for tuning in. As promised, I have an expert tonight with us, Lori James, who's a senior loan officer with Mortgage Investors, and she's been in the lending business for a long time. Tell us
Yes,
a little
ma'am.
bit about yourself, Lori.
Sure. Well, my name is Lori James, and I'm a senior loan officer with Mortgage Investors Group. I live in Lenoir City and have been a lender for over 33 years. I'm very passionate about what I do. I am one of the top producers at Mortgage Investors Group, and I've only achieved that by working with wonderful and trustworthy referral partners, and then taking what I feel like is trusted care of my clients. I'm passionate about educating them so that they make the best decision for themselves and just look after every need from contract to close.
Yeah. I will advocate for Lori. She does a great job. She takes care of her buyers, and also us agents, keeping us informed throughout the process. She just does an amazing job. And I think, do we have a comment there, Scott?
It's very big.
Okay, it's this is a comment. We did the mortgage process when we were buying our home, and it made everything feel so much less stressful. She was always quick to answer questions, explains things in a way that made sense, and made sure we felt confident in every decision. You can tell she truly cares about the people she works with. We're so thankful she helped us get into our new home, and we would absolutely recommend her to anyone looking for a mortgage or a loan officer. Well, we can end on that.
Yes, we can. Thank you. That's
Thank
wonderful.
you for your comment. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
thank you.
We've got another lady's typed in, and she says Lori's an amazing lender. Yeah, just proof in the pudding right there.
All right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
thank you. I'll do this every week.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know Mortgage Investors has a lot of different loan process. They have your normal FHA, VAs, your conventionals. But tonight we're going to talk about something that's a little out of the box, and it's been hard. We're all self-employed. All the agents, most of us are self-employed. And, when it comes to time to buying a home, it's a little nerve-wracking and stressful because it's not the normal process in getting a loan as it would be for a conventional or FHA buyer. So what are some of the guidelines on self-employment, the underwriting that you look at?
Most often, the main guideline is that we need 2 years filed tax returns that shows the self-employed income. There are some scenarios that if the client has been in business for at least 5 years, sometimes we can get away with using just the most recent 1 year. And the reason that's important is, as a realtor, you know there are good years in real estate and there are not so
Yes,
good years. So your
yes.
income does fluctuate. And underwriting does not like to see your income drop more than 20% from
Okay.
1 year to the next. So if that is the scenario with your tax return, that would be a reason we would want to just use that most recent year versus showing that 20% drop. So that's usually the challenge, is when the person may have plenty of income, they just choose to write off a lot of expenses and to avoid paying income tax, and that usually doesn't fare very well when you're trying to get a loan. So we have to find ways around that.
Yeah, and you're doing great at that. I know it's been so hard in past years for self-employed bars to get a loan. So are these newer programs that you brought back, or are these things that we used to? I know back before the economy tanked, it was a lot easier for self-employed. It was no state your income, and
Right.
you could pretty much shake hands and get a loan. But
Right.
things change. So
Yes.
this is something
Yes.
that's coming back around with some new guidelines. I'm
Right,
sure.
it is. We had these before, and certainly these are coming back. They do have a little bit more guidelines and restrictions than the loans of the past, so that's a good thing to protect us all.
Yes.
But the underwriting guidelines and the investors are providing these programs that will allow us to be a little bit more creative and get outside of the restrictive box of your normal programs.
Yeah. Everybody needs to be able to buy a home. Okay, I think we've got some comments. Can too many tax write-offs hurt your chances of qualifying for a mortgage? That's a great question.
Absolutely, that's a wonderful question, and that is definitely the reason sometimes people are not qualifying for your traditional program. Is you have your gross income is a huge amount, but what we look at as far as underwriting guidelines is the net. So you have your gross, you subtract all of your business expenses. A lot of times you want those to be as high as possible, so your taxable income is low. But always know the lender is going to look at the net income. Now, there are some paper write-offs that we can add back, like depreciation, some of those type of paper expenses. Add those back, but just count on we're going to be looking more at the net rather than the gross. So be careful expensing all those things. And I always talk, when I meet with self-employed borrowers and the tax year's coming up, I always say, be sure to chat with your accountant and let them know you're trying to qualify, and let's just try to be a little bit more restrictive with how much we're trying to write off.
That's great advice. Great advice. I think we've got another comment. What are some hidden costs in the home buying process that people don't think about? And that's for any loan that sometimes they don't think about.
Sure. Well, with our loan estimate, I always provide my clients with a preliminary estimate that is going to show you every fee, every expense that you're going to incur associated with the loan. The only thing that is not going to be in my estimate is if you choose to have a home inspection, which we certainly recommend those. They're not required, but we do recommend them. Those are expenses that you will incur outside of my estimate, and also a pest inspection. And past that, everything should be on the estimate, but you always want to make sure that when you are speaking with a lender, and it's not Mortgage Investors Group or myself, be sure to ask for a detailed estimate. That is something you should receive on the very front end, not just an email with your payment and your total to close.
And is every loan, all your loans require a termite inspection?
No, the only program that requires a termite letter is a VA. VA loans require termites, and that rule changed recently that now those can be paid for by the veteran. Previously, they had to be paid by the seller, but now the veteran can pay for the termite letter.
Yes. Okay, we have another comment. What would you tell people to do 6 to 12 months prior to buying a home?
Sure.
Good question.
Yes, we do a lot of counseling with clients. Mostly first-time homebuyers are nervous about what to ask, what to expect, what to plan for. So I do a lot of counseling with first-time and repeat buyers. I met with someone yesterday that hadn't bought in 33 years, and they were just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. But I always talk to them, look at their credit. We can start with a soft pull on their credit, which doesn't ding their score nor show as an inquiry. So that's a good way for us to look at their credit scenario, look at things that they could do, maybe not necessarily pay things off, but pay things down. Sometimes we have to tell people to charge things on their credit card to have some activity. But getting their credit score to the best level possible so that they get the best interest rate and the best loan terms is always very important. And then to get an idea of how much cash they will need for the transaction. That way they can set a budget and save that money and be ready on their timeline.
That's all great advice. Okay, we got another comment. When does it actually make financial sense for a veteran to refinance a VA loan, and how much of a rate drop should they wait for before doing it? How long should one wait to refinance a VA after purchasing? And that's a great question.
That is, yes. VA loans have a lot of great options for refinancing. There's something called we call it a VA IRRL, but that stands for a VA interest rate reduction loan, which is a refinance with very limited cost for the refinance. Traditionally, a 1% savings in the interest rate is your trigger point to, look into refinancing. You're going to have some repeat closing costs. It's not going to be as expensive as the initial purchase, but there will be cost, and you don't want to do it too early so that your interest rate savings is not beneficial for the expense it takes to refinance. But 1% is the trigger point. Unfortunately, on VA loans, there are a lot of lenders that will make an unbelievably low rate offer because they're going to roll all of that back into the loan, and sometimes they don't fully explain how many points and how much of the expenses they're charging you to get that low rate. So you always have to be very careful. If you get those offers in the mail or online, be sure to reach out to a trusted advisor and have them analyze that. But don't be taken advantage by looking at that low offer rate.
Exactly. That's a great advice. How long does the mortgage approval process usually take? And for a conventional versus a self-employed loan, are they all about the same?
They're about the same. Usually, from contract to close is usually 30 days is what we advise for the contract period to be written. I've closed them in as little as 2 weeks. So it just depends on the situation. The more prepared that the client can be at the pre-approval stage, provide us with documentation. We can even go ahead and take them through underwriting before they find a home. And issue an underwriter approval letter that allows them to stack up a little stronger against pre-approvals that have not gone through underwriting. So that is an advantage of trying to meet with your lender early, get pre-approved early, get them your documents early, and even allow us to go ahead and get that step of the underwriter reviewing the documents and confirming that everything looks good. And then at that point, all you need is a contract and appraisal and title work, and we're going to closing.
Yeah, that's great. And you make the process so easy. And if you don't hear anything else tonight, make sure that you do adhere to that calling ahead, getting pre-approved. So when you go to buy that house, you're a step ahead of maybe 5 other buyers that might be in line for that house.
Right.
So, Nicolette Ashley says Lori is the best. Amen to that.
Thank you, Nicolette.
Yeah, thank you, Lori. This ought to make your head swell tonight. So, what are alternative options that allow these clients to get pre-approved for some of their dream homes?
Sure. When a self-employed borrower does not fit into the traditional box for financing, just like we spoke about, having 2 years tax return or being in business 5 years and we're allowed to use the 1 year, we have to get a little creative, and we have programs that will solve those problems. One of them is a no ratio program, or a no income, if you want to call it that. There's no income entered on the application. There's no income documents, no tax returns, no pay stubs, nothing. The approval of the loan is based on the amount of down payment, their credit score, and pretty much that's it. So that one is the most, I guess, creative program. It just simplifies it a lot. So that is one of the programs that will allow clients to qualify if they have had a drop in income or not able to provide those documents. An example of that is I had a realtor that moved from Texas to Tennessee, and he had been a realtor in Texas for many, many years, but the rule is when you relocate to a different area, so coming from Texas to Tennessee, the guideline is you need to be in your new location for at least one tax year, file the tax return, and then we would see that as the type of income that you would have in your new location. Well, in his situation, his family dynamic, they didn't want to wait for a year to purchase. They wanted to go ahead and buy right when they were moving from Texas. Well, obviously, I didn't have any documentation of what his income would be in Tennessee as a realtor.
Right.
He hadn't even closed that many transactions. But he chose to go with the no ratio program and was pleased to just get in a home and be able to do that without having to rent for a year, waiting for his tax return to be filed.
Smart.
Yes.
Now, is that a little higher rate?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And that basically, that's the way you need to look at it, is when you get outside of the box of the traditional programs, the way you offset risk is with rate.
Right.
So these programs are going to have a little bit higher than the market rate, but they're waiving the guideline of you having any income or you meeting the guidelines. So it's a way for you to get in the property, live there until you're able to get the needed documentation, and certainly refinance at that point once they've lived there 12 months, get their first file tax return, and then we can refinance them into a conventional program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very easy.
That's a great program, and just the holding costs where he lost on paying rent, and it was probably smart that he went ahead and bought because he's a realtor. He knew that. So, how did he find you? Do you know?
He was a referral from a broker in an office in Knoxville.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine you get lots of referrals. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
do a great job.
Thank
now,
you.
you talked about some retirees that are maybe not pulling out of their 401ks or not pulling a steady income, that you have some loans that might work for them as well. Can
Yes.
we talk about that?
This is a wonderful program. A lot of times when people retire, they may want to be either downsizing, buying a nice home on the lake or in the mountains. But since they've retired, obviously they don't have the level of income monthly like they would normally have if they still had their jobs. So when they do retire, usually retirees just take distributions just to cover their living expenses. They leave their money in their accounts growing. They may delay starting their Social Security in order to start taking that at a later age so they can get a higher amount. And sometimes that creates a challenge for us getting them approved because they're only taking a very small distribution. But we have a program that is a solution for that. You can take their assets, they have investment assets, retirement assets. We can take those balances and calculate what the income stream would be from those assets. Now, they don't have to set up the distribution. They don't have to start their Social Security. We just do the math that looks at it and says they have this much in assets. If worse came to worse, they could draw on this money for this period of time, and we can use that as the income figure to qualify them for the loan. So it makes it very flexible for them to get credit for having the assets, but they don't have to go ahead and start drawing on them, which makes people very happy.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great loan program. It's back to the common sense of banking, isn't
Yes.
it? Which we missed out on that for a few years.
Yes, we
So
did.
I bet you're glad to see that come
Absolutely,
back around.
yes.
Yeah.
It opens up home buying to a lot more people,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is what we need.
It's what we need. Absolutely. Make it affordable and easy accessible to lots of buyers out there.
Right.
Now, are there certain limits as far as how much they can finance on the self-employed no ratio loans or like the retirement loan? What is there a certain limit?
There are on the, and that's going to vary depending on each of the different programs have loan to value guidelines, and also it is based on credit score. So that is another reason to speak with your lender early, make a strategy to get your score as high as you possibly can, and that will allow you to qualify for those lesser down payment programs. Normally you can count on about 20%, but that may go as little as 15 or as high as 25. It really just depends on these different programs and the credit score.
I think we got another comment. Lori has helped many of my buyers and always does an amazing job. We are so thankful for her. And we are too.
Thank you, Tori.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Oh, we got another comment. What is the wildest situation you've ever seen during a mortgage approval process? Oh, can we tell that on air?
Probably not.
Okay, well, give us a safe one. Yeah.
No. There have been all kinds of situations, some good, some bad. But a lot of times it's folks, unfortunately, people are going through divorce, and that brings in a lot of moving parts, and maybe trying to separate and buy two houses. So that is a situation where you're in the middle and you're trying to help both parties stay neutral, and then help them find the best solution for their situation as they're moving forward individually. But there's been all kinds of situations, people that buy cars while they're getting pre-approved, and then that blows their debt ratio. So all kinds of things they don't think about, and you kind of, clients seem to try to guess what they need to do, and sometimes it's the wrong thing.
Yeah. Don't guess.
Don't guess.
Call Lori.
Call me and I will confirm.
Yeah, I know you were telling us about a situation where a guy quit his job or lost his job and didn't think that was
Oh,
important to
the
tell you.
retirement, yes.
Yeah. Oh, he
yes, the guy, he
retired, yes.
retired.
Yes.
We had him approved on a conventional loan, and everything was good and ready to go. And we called him the week before to go over his numbers for closing, and he said, "Oh, well, I just wanted to let you know that I decided to retire last week." And we were just like, "Oh my goodness!" So there we were, a week out from closing, and had to pivot and find a different program that we could get him qualified on, because he no longer had a job and no longer had that monthly income. So that's key if you're buying a home, is don't spend your money, don't buy anything, don't let anyone check your credit, and surely don't quit your job.
Yes, and but luckily he had you. Experience to where you knew where to pull that knowledge from and make sure you got him to the closing
Right.
table. I think we got another comment. What types of loans are available for land purchase? Are any of those self-employed loans available? No.
No, land loans are very specific in their guidelines, and those do not fall into the programs that we've talked about today. So usually on land loans, there's a little bit larger down payment than normal. Often clients call and say, "Well, I want to buy land to buy on, to build. I want to buy land and build," and they're very limited in their funds. So I always try to explain that you could get into a new home. Depending on the location, you could possibly get the 100% USDA loan. And in Roane County, there's lots of USDA
Yes.
eligible homes that you could get into that home with no down payment. And a great realtor like yourself can negotiate for the seller to help with the closing cost. And you could basically get into a home worth little or no money down.
Yeah.
And when I can switch and explain to them how much is needed for a land loan, it could be 20%, 10%, 15%, depending on the term. The longer term you go, as far as up to 25 years, the larger down payment you have to have, up to 25%. And then that's just for the land. Then you're looking at needing the down payment or, to build a house, to get a construction loan. So it's a lot more complex to buy land and build than it is just to go ahead and find the house that's similar to what you want and buy it. And your terms will be much better.
Yeah. And that's why we're having this program, because a lot of folks, a lot of buyers don't think of those steps and those situations ahead of time, and then they find themselves owning a piece of land and maybe having to resell it and having
Right.
to buy a home. So
That is very true.
Well, Lori, our time's already up.
Wow.
The audience says you're great, and I know you're great.
Well,
And
thank
we
you.
thank you so much for being here. Audience, please, if you are thinking in the future, 6 months out, a year out, 2 years out, tomorrow of buying a home, please call Lori. Her information's there on the screen, and I will promise you, she's going to do you an amazing job. She's going to get you to the closing table, and you'll want to tell all your friends. So if you know somebody that's even thinking about it, give Lori's name and number, and she'll take good care of them, we promise. Thank you for being here. Check us out. You can contact us at the email provided there or message us on Facebook. We're here every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. And thank you for being here. Stay tuned. I want to thank Scott Wilk with Wilk Productions for making this show happen, and we'll see you next Thursday. Take care.